Alright, shalom to the elect of Israel. I'm going to start by giving all the praises, honor, and glory to whom it rightfully belongs, which is Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem HaKakodash. And what I said was all the praises, honor, and glory belongs to Yahweh, who was the Heavenly Father, in the name of his Son, Yahweh Shai, who was the Messiah, in the name of the Holy Spirit, which in Hebrew is HaKakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect. And this lesson is going into possibly being a martyr, which we talk about this topic from time to time, and I was just thinking about it, man, and Lord willing, this lesson is edifying as well as comforting to the hopeful elect. All right, but because we know some brothers are going to be martyrs, man. Okay, some brothers are going to lose their lives for the truth. Now we don't know who it is, all right, just yet. It could be us. It could be, one of us. When I say one of us, talking about, those who listen to this video, all right, including myself. All right, but we don't know. We just have to see how it all unfolds, man. All right. But the thing I really wanted to talk about is, not being afraid in that moment. When they take you, all right. When even if you have to go before somebody, and just ultimately, get them put to death, man. All right. I wanted to make this lesson, in a sense of basically to say, don't be afraid. If it happens, don't be afraid, man. Okay. Because, hey, I remember Elder Sakaran said, you have something along the lines of you have no control of basically of you coming in the world. All right, you also have no control of you going out. Something along those lines. You can't control it. You didn't ask to be here, right? Nor did you ask for the way you're gonna go out if you go out. Okay. But according to the prophecy, this is the book of Revelation, chapter 20, and verse 4. And I saw thrones. This is the Apostle John receiving a vision of the elect in the kingdom sitting on thrones, right? But listen to what happened to some of them. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahweh Shai, and for the word of Yahweh, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with Hamashiach 1,000 years. Okay? So the Apostle John, he saw some of the elect, all right, sitting on thrones, with Yahweh Shai, and reigning with Yahweh Shai, that got beheaded. Okay? And it said that these men, they didn't worship the beast nor his image, nor did they take his mark. Okay? That's crazy. As soon as I start the lesson, this noise want to come up. Salakia, bear with me 1 second. That's crazy. Bear with me just 1 second. Alright. So, so according to this prophecy, this goes to show us that, there are going to be martyrs, man. And we know that the MOTB is an end-time prophecy. So, there's going to be some men in these last days that are going to have to get martyred for it, man. Get martyred for the Lord. All right? But always remember, man, what Yahweh Shai said. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 28. And fear not them. Let me get this one. Luke 12, because he called us our friends. It's more comforting. Luke 12, 4-5. And I say unto you, my friends, be not afraid of them that kill the body. and after that have no more that they can do, which is mortal men. Yahushua is telling you not to fear mortal men. Okay? You know? Because they could, if now the thing is, if the Lord even allows them to kill this body, okay, they can do it. But afterwards, they can't do anything else to you. You see? They can't do, this body is just a house, man. All right? This body is just a house. Let me see about this. Yeah, this is 2 Corinthians 5:1. For if we know that our earthly house of this tabernacle, word is all, talking about this body, see? It's like a house for your spirit. It says we have a building of the Most High, and house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. Okay? That's, your spiritual body, when you go back to the spirit world, you have that. So this body that you have is just a house, man, for your spirit, It says, verse 5, but I will forewarn you whom ye shall fear. Fear him which after he hath killed, hath power to cast into hell. Yea, I say unto you, fear him. And that's talking about the Most High Yahweh, okay? Because he can take you out and then bring you back in the next life in a messed up body, all right, which is a bad condition, aka hell, okay? So, remember that, man. Don't fear those that can kill the body, okay? And also, man, remember one of the main things that I was thinking about on this lesson is, with Yahweh Shai, right? Because they took Yahweh Shai, remember? Yahweh Shai, as the scriptures say, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 53. In verse 7, it says, he was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, here's the point, and as a sheep before his shearers is dumb, meaning silent, so he openeth not his mouth. Okay? Yahweh Shai, before, his persecutors and everything and people that would put him on the cross, he was silent. All right, and a quick example of that is in the book of John 19. All right. St. John 19. I'm gonna start from the top. But it says, then Pilate therefore took Yahushua and scourged him, and the soldiers platted a crown of thorns and put it on his head, and they put on him a purple robe and said, Hail, King of the Jews, and they smote him with their hands. Pilate therefore went forth again and saith unto them, Behold, I bring him forth to you, that ye may know that I find no fault in him. And that's another thing, understand that you might possibly have to get tortured, okay? It might not be just straight to the death, but you might get tortured, but it's up to the Lord if you feel it or not. See? Now, yes, Yahweh Shai did feel this, okay? Yahweh Shai, man, he went through, he caught some hell, man, some serious hell. Ain't none that none of us caught. All right? But, just understand that. But I'm getting this to help you. Well, basically, I'm getting this because, I want you to remember, man, remember Yahweh Shai, okay? Remember he had to go through, being taken, being put to death, etc., tortured, all right? Verse 4 says, but Pilate therefore went forth again and saith unto them, Behold, I bring him forth to you, that ye may know that I find no fault in him. Then came Yahweh Shai forth, wearing the crown of thorns and a purple robe, and Pilate saith unto them, Behold the man. When the chief priests therefore and officers saw him, they cried out, saying, Crucify him, crucify him. Pilate saith unto them, Take ye him, and crucify him, for I find no fault in him. All right. The Jews answered him, We have a law, and by our law he ought to die, because he made himself the son of Yahweh. When Pilate therefore heard that saying, he was the more afraid, and went again into the judgment hall, and said unto Yahweh Shai, Whence art thou? See, but Yahweh Shai gave him no answer. All right? But listen, right? Pilate, he went to go ask Yahweh Shai a question, right? But then what? Yahweh Shai to answer. So verse 10, then Pilate saith unto him, Speakest thou not unto me? Knowest thou not that I have power to crucify thee and have power to release thee? So Pilate said, you're not going to talk to me? Don't you know I could crucify you or let you go? Now Yahushua did answer right here. Verse 11, Yahushua answered, thou couldst have no power at all against me, except that were given thee from above. And always remember that, when this devil actually comes down, and takes brothers, because picture, you might, see what, you see, man, wherever it happens at for brothers, however it happens, this devil comes and apprehends you, takes you away. All right, but just giving a scenario, say you at home and you're surrounded, trucks outside, men with all types of gear on, guns, kicking your door in, pointing guns at you and stuff with lights, yelling, screaming, saying get on the floor, or hands behind your back, hands in the air where we could see them, and everything like that, dragging you out the house violently, maybe even kicking you a little bit, punching you and stuff. All right, actually prepare your mind for these type of things to actually happen. Okay. See, Yahushua already knew these things was gonna happen, man. All right. And now through the different things Yahushua told us and the things that the scriptures tell us, we know that it's coming. All right. We know that those times is coming. All right. But just picture that, man. They taking you and all that. Just understand that they couldn't do that unless the Lord allowed them to. Because like right now, we're preaching. All right. And I mean, if the Lord allowed them to, they could come and get us. But see, the Lord didn't give them power to do it just yet. It's not time for them to do it just yet. See? So in that time when it happens, the Lord is going to give them power to do it. Right? Verse 11, it says, thou couldst have no power at all against me, except that were given thee from above. Therefore he that delivered me unto thee hath the greater sin. Okay? Remember that, man. It's important. Because it is going to happen. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil, which is the so-called white man, shall cast some of you into prison. See? Some. Not all of the elect is going to, get apprehended, get taken into these concentration camps, wherever this devil, decides to put brothers. But some brothers are going to get taken. All right. It says that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days, which is any amount of time. So you're going to be in this situation for as long as the Lord sees fit. Okay. It could be 2 days, maybe even an hour, a week, who knows? It's up to the Lord. But here's the point, though. Throughout everything, even now, be thou faithful unto death. You got to hold on to this truth unto death, man, no matter what happens. It says, and I will give thee a crown of life. Always remember that, man. Be thou faithful unto death. All right? The Lord is the one that put you in the situation, remember? Sirach 11 and 14. Prosperity and adversity, life and death, poverty and riches come of the Lord. All right, so that adversity we're going to catch, that's also going to come of the Lord, man. So when those times come, man, remember, Yahushua had to go through it. And we're going to have to go through it, This is the book of Romans, chapter 8. Starting in verse 38 through 39. For I am persuaded that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of Yahweh, which is in Hamashiach Yahushua our Lord. So can nothing, if you're of the elect, can nothing take you out the truth, not even death. Okay? You're going to hold on to death with your last breath. Okay? Slakia, you're going to hold on to the truth with your last breath. Slakia. All right? You're going to go through death holding on to the truth with your last breath if you're of the elect. All right? If you're faced with that situation. See? Nothing can take the elect out of the truth, man. All right? Verse 35. Who shall separate us from the love of Hamashiach? Shall tribulation or distress or persecution or famine or nakedness or peril or sword? The answer is none. None of those. Not even persecution, which we're going to have to go through. None of that, man. Okay? None of that. You see? But so remember these things, man, when this time comes, you know. Because I mean, you might feel a little fear. Don't get me wrong, because you're in the flesh. When I was getting ready to get taken, he was let me see. If I can find it. Let's see, maybe it's okay, here we go. Matthew chapter 26. And this is when when he was getting ready to get taken. It says when Yahushua was, getting ready to get ready to go through everything he had to go through as far as, uh the cross and, getting taken to the high chief, to like the high priest and everything. So he said, this Matthew chapter 26, starting in verse 37, and he took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. Then saith he unto them, my soul is exceeding sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here, watch with me. Right? So Yahushua, he was very he was very, he felt that. He felt that, the heaviness of that situation. He felt it. You see? So when you go through it, you might be a little afraid. Okay? You might be a little afraid. All right, but really, you don't have a reason to be afraid. Okay? You don't have a reason to feel nervous. It's just, it might, and who knows, the Lord might put a spirit on you to not feel afraid. Okay? And you might even just be laughing. You might just be like, oh man, I've been waiting for this. Because it's coming. All right. But just seeing everything face to face, you might be a little afraid. Just don't lose your faith. You see, and if you're of the elect, you won't. All right. And understand the Lord is gonna be with brothers, man. Even as He is right now, the Lord ain't going nowhere. Okay, He's gonna be with brothers, even that are have to be martyred. But and always understand, man, that the Lord ain't gonna forget about those of His that does get taken out. Okay, He's not gonna forget about you. That's why 1 Thessalonians, it says what it says. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verses 16. Now I'm gonna start at verse. Let me get this in the blue letter Bible. You understand what's being said here. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verses 13 through 18. It says, those who died in Yahushua HaMashiach. It says, but I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep, meaning those that have passed on. All right? Those that have passed away in the truth. It says that ye sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. All right, let me read that verse in the NLT, just that verse. Because now, dear brothers and sisters, we want you to know what will happen to the believers who have died, so you will not grieve like people who have no hope. Right? You can know. He's telling you. So Apostle Paul is telling you what's going to happen. With those that passed. Right? Verse 14. For if we believe that Yahushua died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Yahushua will Yahweh bring with him. Right? Verse 15, for this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep. Now, what does it mean by prevent? What does it mean that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep? Prevent.
Strong's G 5348. Fathano.
Fathano, it says to come before, proceed. I anticipate to come to, but yeah, to come before. Okay, so it says, and I'm gonna have to hurry up because I don't know how long this because my phone storage be messing up. But it says, so yeah, you know what? This will probably be the last precept. All right, but it says, for this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord shall not prevent, meaning come before them which are asleep. So what does he mean by those of us who are alive at the return of Yahweh Shai are not going to come before those that passed? She's about to break it down. Verse 16, for the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of Yahweh, and the dead in Hamashiach shall rise first. See? So when Yahweh Shai returns, those that passed away in the faith, they're going to be beamed up first. They're going to be in a chariot first. Verse 17, then we which are alive remain. See, and that goes to show not everybody, not all of the elect is going to get taken. Mark 9:1 as well. So some of the elect are going to be here when Yahweh Shai returns. Some of the elect are still going to be alive. It says, then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, meaning in the chariot, to meet the Lord in the air. And so shall we ever be with the Lord. And from that point forward, you will forevermore be with Yahweh Shai. You see? Wherefore comfort one another with these words. All right? And these words are very comforting, man. So always understand, even if you do get, martyred and everything, all right, you still, you still are gonna come back. The Lord ain't gonna forget about you. You see? So this devil, he not expecting that. He not expecting you to come back. He just has his mind on his agenda. But see, you already understand that. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to go through this. And yeah, you might. Who knows if even if you get tortured and get put to death and feel a little pain. Remember. Let me get this. Romans 8. Okay, this will be the last precept. Romans 8:18. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. See? So yeah, So you already get it, man. So look, don't have any fear. Understand that these things are about to happen very soon. All right, this devil is gonna come down against us, but just keep your eyes on the prize, man. Remember, Yahweh Shai had to go through getting taken and being brought before people, and being put to death. All right, and getting sentenced to death, man. All right, but remember, that's not the end of the story. And the Lord could possibly have you go through that and you still not get martyred. He could, get you out of there just as a test of your faith. He could put you through that. Okay, so. Hey man, well that's the end of the lesson. Lord willing, was comforted and edifying, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, ever well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect. Shalom to the elect.